October 2024 marks 100 years since the first Surrealist manifesto, which was written by Andre Breton. So it's 100 years of Surrealism. This lecture, in accordance, is on Surrealism more generally, but I've titled it Surrealism in Thought and Art because I'm going to be talking about the ideas of Surrealism and also the art that was produced because of those ideas. Okay, so in this lecture, we're going to explore the central ideas and creative strategies of the Surrealist creative movement. We're going to explain how Surrealism was a reaction to the context of its time, i.e., what was going on around the time. We're going to discuss Sigmund Freud's writing as a relevant theoretical perspective, and I'm going to explore the effect that Surrealism has had on artists working now. Even though Surrealism was 100 years ago, it's still making huge impacts on artists today. So let's go right back to the origins of Surrealism. So Surrealism was influenced by the broader cultural movements of modernism and also more specifically Dada. So modernism, and I will be delivering a lecture on modernism at some point. Modernism was a huge, global, um, socio-cultural movement which affected all forms of society in various different ways. Um, and it included lots, it was like an umbrella term, and underneath modernism, lots of other things happened, particularly particular art movements, including Dada, but also Surrealism. So Surrealism is sort of under the broader umbrella of modernism. And it was under the umbrella of modernism in that it questioned traditional values. It rejected religion of the past. It was quite a secular movement. And instead of sort of prizing religion like art always had done, it prized intellectualism and science. And essentially, modernists and surrealists were looking for alternative ways of living, alternative ways of doing things. The term surrealism itself is first recognized as being in use in 1917. However, most people trace the official start of surrealism to 1924 when Andre Breton wrote the first surrealist manifesto, which was called the Manifesto Ideals, and that was 100 years ago in October. Surrealism impacted a broad range of areas, including film, literature, theatre, philosophy, music, and art. And this very fact that a single idea could be cross-disciplinary was quite revolutionary in itself and was in itself a marker of modernism. Surrealism, obviously, when it started out, was avant-garde. It was reactionary. It was controversial. In the 1930s, sort of 10 years after it started, it really did become part of the wider public consciousness. It was accepted by the public at large, particularly with artists like Salvador Dali exhibiting very widely. Surrealism petered out roughly in the 1950s, but it's been very influential for artists since. Its central ideas have continued.